Eiffel Tower listeners, we did it. We made it.
We arrived.
And in style, I might add. If you're just tuning in for the first time ever, gosh, you're probably pretty confused. But I think most people have been along for this journey. We started in the 20th arrondissement about 20 weeks ago. And every week we've featured an arrondissement, and we've just done the first. Feels good.
Yeah, it feels amazing. I can't believe we did it.
I can't believe it either. We've discussed we're not going to make this episode a big sort of, best of, where we talk about everything we've done. We're going to focus on the first arrondissement. A best of sort of recap can come in another episode. So today you're going to listen to me, Oliver G.
And me, Lena Norden G.
Talking about the first arrondissement of Paris and what we found after spending a day there. At the end of the episode, we'll give our score, see if it sneaks into the top couple of positions. I have a feeling it's going to be up there.
I think it's going to do very well.
But we're also going to share the vibe of this area and talk about how best to visit. Are you ready, Lena?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's start with some music from the Matryoshka of music. Lovely.
Oh, it's beautiful. It makes me almost nostalgic.
That was the music of Press Maxim, who's done the whole season. Do you want me to read what he wrote?
Yes, please.
He said, an epic finale needs an epic soundtrack, so I mashed up a series of legendary Paris songs by an inarguable list of legendary performers and composers. We started way back on episode 1 of the countdown in the 20th with Edith Piaf, so it's only fitting that she kicks off our finale with my take on her song, Paris. That's what we just heard, but it gets better.
Tell me.
Followed by Charles Trenet, Le Romance de Paris, The Romance of Paris, Charles Aznavour's J'ai vu Paris, Cole Porter's I Love Paris, and finishing off with Maurice Chevalier, Paris sera toujours Paris.
Wow, this feels almost like a gluttonous feast of Paris, don't you think? Like, it's so extravagant, so indulgent.
You could call it a Mount Olympus of songs.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Press said. He said it's a veritable Mount Olympus of songs about the city, if there ever was one, where the musical gods of Paris sit side by side, smiling down on every sidewalk cafe table, every person strolling the Seine, or picnicking in a park.
Oh, wow. It is perfect.
It's a very nice medley.
It's perfect.
And as always, I'll say check out the YouTube video for the full song, which is coming out soon. And it's a nice one too. I've had a sneak peek.
I feel very nostalgic.
Yeah,
It's weird.
Thanks, Matryoshka.
Yeah.
Prez and I even talks about, you know what the latest is? Still, anything could happen, but the latest is to make a CD. Remember those things? CDs? Someone messaged in to say they'd paid doll hairs, which I'd never heard before.
Never heard.
For a vinyl.
Love the expression.
But a vinyl is just too expensive to make.
Yeah.
We'll make CDs. And my latest thought is we'll make 1,000 of them and give it to Patreon members.
Amazing.
Yeah. So there's another reason to become a Patreon member, but I'll say more about that at the end. The first. So, where do we start?
The first arrondissement. Oh my gosh.
Well, what comes to your head when you think about the first? If someone was to say, let's meet in the first, how would you respond?
I would assume we're meeting in the Tuileries or at the Louvre Museum.
Tuileries, that's the big, fancy, elegant park / garden.
Yeah.
A lot of tourists in there.
Definitely.
Spilling out from the Louvre Museum that you mentioned.
Yeah, exactly. And the two of them together, they make up about half of the arrondissement. So that's why I'm assuming that it would be one of the two.
Safe bet, right?
Yeah, right?
It's,
How about you?
Well, if someone say meeting in the first, I'd assume they were like if someone wanted to meet me there, I'd imagine they were a business person who worked there and wanted to meet at one of the little businessy cafes. But if it was a tourist like you, I'd say one of those places or one of the fancy hotels. I'd have my fingers crossed it was a fancy hotel and that they were inviting me.
Yeah.
Because some of the best hotels in the city are right there. I'm talking about the Ritz, Le Maurice, the Brighton, is it called? Bristol. There's a few.
Yeah, a few
down there,
high flyers around
there. Anyway, so the first is a lot of that. There's also Les Halles, it used to be the old sort of famous belly of Paris, where everyone would have got there.
I kind of love that expression, belly.
I think it comes from Émile Zola.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Why did he say that?
I think he just set one of his books down. You got to be careful getting the names wrong because we get emails. Apologies to everybody for mistaking Something's Got to Give with As Good as It Gets last week. The emails come.
It is bad.
Yeah. It's better to say that Jack Nicholson film.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what? I still don't know which one it is.
No, me neither.
I think it's Something's Got to Give in the Grand Colbert.
Okay, cool.
So first, it's kind of fancy. It's kind of touristy.
It's kind of like, it's fancy mixed with high street. So you have that big stretch of the main road, Rivoli, with a lot of the high street shops. So like you got that sort of vibe as well. And around Leal, it's all a bit more, it's not as pricey.
Yeah.
And then you have the very high-end, luxurious parts as well.
Well, there's also a bit that we didn't really talk about, that we didn't really target for the podcast or the video, is that Rue Saint-Honoré. We went there a little bit, but there's a lot of embassies and ambassadors' residences, and it's very grand, but it's a little bit boring.
It is a bit, yeah. And
so
it's also a little bit hard sometimes to go there because it's always cut off and lots of police and guard and that sort of stuff.
I found a wallet the other day. I found a wallet of maybe she's listening, a Colombian woman.
Yeah.
And someone had probably...
It was pink.
Yeah, someone had probably robbed her and thrown it in the bushes
outside of Petit Palais.
Yeah, where I was foraging for mushrooms.
Weirdly.
No, I found the wallet, and you were like, I wonder if the Colombian embassy is nearby, and it was. And so we handed it in there, which is, that's like, we've handed in wallets and stuff to a number of embassies.
Yeah, this sort of thing.
Yeah, the Dutch one not long ago.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's always really tricky to do it. They're never really excited.
Never want it.
Yeah, they're like, ugh, really?
Anyway.
Anyways, yes.
So first arrondissement, really beautiful. It's got, the other thing we didn't mention is it's on the Seine River as well, which makes for a really nice walk down on the riverside.
And spills over the Seine
to the
onto...
Ile de la Cité.
That's right.
Which is stunning.
Yeah, and it's not the whole Ile de la Cité. It's like half of it with that really like iconic pinpoint tip that looks like the front of a ship.
That's right.
Yeah. It's got that willow tree wisping about.
It's called Square Vert Galant, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
And on the other side of that, the other side of Pont Neuf, another great tourist attraction, there is the Place Dauphine. Beautiful little square. So you're essentially surrounded with cool things to see, most of which are free.
Yeah,
I must say, but those things are surrounded by very expensive things. The Samaritan.
I mean, if you want to walk around, there's a lot to see, but if you want to like do something or eat something or, then you're going to have to pay up.
And because it's there's also the Palais Royal.
Yeah.
So there's plenty to see and do for free, and there's plenty of ways to really spend everything you got. So it's a dangerous little cocktail, the first arrondissement, and it's as central as you can get, obviously. If we haven't mentioned on the show before, there's 20 arrondissements that spiral inwards or outwards, depending on which way you're going.
Like a snail shell.
I guess we went inwards from 20 all the way down to 1. So we're in central Paris, the bullseye of the whole city.
Yeah.
And
I was just thinking, you were touching on Pont Neuf before. I really love that story that you told me once about the first souvenir. Can you just quickly tell us?
When I used to do tours, which now other people do, Eiffel Tower tours for us, I used to do it as a guessing game, and no one has ever guessed. So I'll let you guys sit at home and guess. Shout out or press pause or impress your husband or your wife or your kids if you do. In fact, we'll give a pause where everyone can shout out their guesses in the car if that's what you're... And if you're sitting on the train by yourself, just yell out your guess.
Go for
it. What I say is because Pont Neuf, it means new bridge. It's not a new bridge, it's the oldest in the city. It's about 400 years old. And I could talk for a long time about this bridge because I love it. But it really changed the face of Paris in several ways. One, it had sidewalks, which was a game changer because people could see each other, strutting around. Which
it means that you could literally walk to places and not, to keep clean. Is that what you mean? Like not being driven, or
not just that? There's imagine a wealthy count or something. When they went from A to B, they'd do it in a carriage, so you'd never even see them. right?
Yeah.
But suddenly they want to go walk on this bridge, not just because there's a sidewalk, which no one really knew about, but because you could get a view of the Seine for the first time from the middle. That didn't exist, or at least not like this. Like this had little viewing balconies. It still does, the Pont Neuf. Anyway, when you've got rich people walking around with their fancy clothes, you can check them out and go, whoa, look at his cape. I want one too. A little bit of people watching.
Street style.
Fashion.
Yeah.
So suddenly we're walking around, we've got fashion, and then when all this is happening, of course, it brings out all the thieves, the merchants, the dentists, apparently. We're doing dentistry, like pulling out tooths.
On the street?
Tooths?
Like on the bridge?
Teeth even. Yeah. Everything was happening on that bridge. But the question I ask people that you're going to have to guess is the Pont Neuf featured on a sort of tourist knick-knack, a souvenir. So you know, like the Eiffel Tower now is on key rings, right? So what did the Pont Neuf feature on? You have 5 seconds.
The first souvenir.
Yeah, I guess maybe it was one of the first Paris souvenirs. What was it? I'm giving you space to guess, everybody. Come on. I'll give a clue.
I feel like I'm hearing a few correct answers.
Come on, really, guess. I'll give you a clue. It was made of paper.
And we have previously, I know we said that we weren't going to do any like retrospect, but in a previous episode,
10th arrondissement,
we visited a museum dedicated to this thing.
And time's up. It is a fan.
Yeah.
Like
éventail,
like a fan that you cool yourself with, made of paper. So they had pictures of the bridge on the fans.
I love it.
As I say that out loud, I'd be surprised that there weren't fans with Notre Dame on it before that. But hey.
Yeah, well.
Who cares?
So goes the story.
Yeah, the story. Anyway, that was one of the things that they sold there, and I'm sure they still exist around the place. Shall we get into the things that we did?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, Elena.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the things we did and what we can recommend, and also what we can recommend people think twice about, perhaps. We did... Now, this was a tricky one due to the great babysitter shortage of Paris 2022.
And it's a thing.
It's a thing. We couldn't get a babysitter on the... we like to do this in one full day, where we get out there...
Yeah, to keep it real and true.
Yeah, I want to say sunrise, but I don't think we got...
I felt very Hemingway. Keep it real.
Funny
keep
that
it
you
true.
say Hemingway. That's going to come back.
No,
But usually we go morning till late at night. Couldn't get a babysitter, so we switched it up and we did it all over the place. But we'll tell it sort of as a linear story, right? So the first bit that we did was a fantastic walk, and I recommend everybody in the world to do this kind of walk.
The best Paris walk.
Yeah, probably. So we started on that same square that you said, the square Vert Galon. If you don't know what I'm talking about, find the horse in the middle of Pont Neuf, go down the stairs behind it. I think a lot of people don't know you can get down to that part.
Yeah, it's not obvious.
Yeah, and that willow tree Lena mentioned, sneak in behind that. You'll see it in the YouTube video, and it feels like you own Paris.
Yeah, it's like... Yeah, it's kind of like Narnia, you step through the willow tree branches and you come out and see it just opens up. It's amazing.
Yeah. I feel like we've said Narnia a few times.
Yeah, it's a lot like Narnia.
So that's really cool. Then you walk around there, Pont Neuf, Place Dauphine that we've already mentioned, and then across the bridge and along the river. And you know what about that riverside walk that I mentioned? There's that tunnel there because it used to be like a highway down there when you walk along the river, and there's a tunnel, and we went around the tunnel right by the waterside, but they were working on putting some street art in that tunnel.
Really?
Because I think that's going to be one of the next Paris treasures.
Yeah.
I don't know what it will be.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Because it's not like very used at the moment.
Super waste of space. I think there could be shops in there if they could figure it out. Yeah. So anyway, we walked from that down by the riverside up into the Palais Royal, which is another Paris treasure. We walked from the riverside up and we stopped for breakfast at the Café Le Nemours. Now, this is an interesting one. It's stunningly beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, a typical, very beautiful Parisian cafe.
But there were
Terrace.
3 of us there. None of us finished our coffee.
Yeah.
Why?
The coffee was just not on.
No.
It's not on.
It wasn't very... It just didn't taste good.
No. It's like really bitter and nah.
But it's one of those.
But it's not about that.
It's just very pretty.
Yeah.
It's a very pretty. We had a long conversation the other day about going places for what it looks like and what you get. And this is one of the places you go for what it looks like. You can get a croissant too, which was like 2 or 3 euros.
And that was alright.
Yeah, the croissant was good, but it's an expensive place to stop. One of the reasons I like it is because, and this is something I'll touch on in future episodes. In fact, I'll touch on it again later in this episode. But under one of the chairs on the terrace is one of those Arago markers. Have we mentioned this on the show before, these Arago markers?
I think so, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so that'll come back later in the show, but there's one right there, and then you can follow them leading into the Palais Royal.
Like a treasure map.
Oh, one of the most fun treasure hunts in the city that I'm yet to do properly. But the black and white columns in the Palais Royal, photographer's dream.
Yeah.
Always people hanging around, sitting on the columns, having fun.
Always a photo shoot or two going on there.
And then we popped into the sort of big garden part of it. I think Tom Cruise was in there filming Mission Impossible at one point.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we were in there when he was filming.
Yeah, but we didn't see him.
No.
But we saw the crew.
Yeah, and it was a substantial crew. Like, and I asked him, I was like, "What do you?" I always ask him what they're filming, and he sort of winked at me and said Mission Impossible, and that either meant it was Mission Impossible.
Or not at all.
Or it was Emily in Paris and he was just messing
who
with
knows?
me. But they also sit in Emily in Paris. They sit in that park an awful lot too.
Yeah, it's those benches under the big tree alleyways.
Yeah.
With quotes. Like
Perfect
famous
for a
quotes.
photo shoot if you guys ever want to
definitely.
take a nice photo in Paris. Now, there's a famous cafe times 3 in that area. And I think they're getting too big for their boots. I'm not even going to name them because they got a competitor.
But they have a fox as a little icon.
Yeah. And that's what the name of that place means in Japanese.
Japanese,
Did you know
that's
that?
right, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to promote their new competitor that we popped into for the first time called Bonjour.
And it is such a sunny, friendly little place. And it's beautiful.
Really friendly staff. We met the
Super
manager.
friendly, yeah.
Lovely coffee.
Yeah, just great.
Vegan banana bread. Didn't even know that was a thing.
Delicious.
Yeah.
And most importantly, not a queue. Like, not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's called
really
Bonjour.
nice.
I think I asked him, I was like, why did you call it Bonjour? He said, first thing you say in Paris. I was like, yep.
I love it.
So check that place out, really good. From there, we did a bit of an afternoon wander where we just popped into, we just sort of walked.
Yeah, stroll around, get the vibe of the
We probably
the
walked
area.
every street.
Yeah, I think
It felt
so.
like, I mean, that sounds insane, but we really did
Yeah,
check
but
out
it's not
most
that
of the.
big.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
The one thing that we didn't do that I can recommend, and I know we shouldn't do it like this, because we tried to get to everything, but the Bourse du Commerce, that big circular building that's got a
newly
modern art display.
renovated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just, when we were there, it wasn't open, but it's really good. It's worth looking into.
Yeah, you've been there before. I still haven't. I need to go.
Check that one. Add that to your list. And as well as walking around every street, we popped into somewhere that has been so closed for so long.
Yeah.
I'm talking about La Samaritaine.
The department store. The
Yeah.
Art Nouveau department store.
It's a lot of people who were in Paris for a long time or who've traveled here ages ago. They talk in sort of hushed whispers of amazement about this department store from before, because it used to sell everything and it used to not be high end. It used to be. I've read stories about people saying you go and buy like a turtle there if you want it.
Yeah,
or
and like nails and screws and
everything.
like
it had everything.
everything and anything.
Apparently, and cheap and lots of character. And now it doesn't have much character.
I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's got character
And it's like
beauty.
an Art Nouveau dream. But in terms of like what they offer, it's very much like any other big luxury department stores.
Luxury is the key
Yeah.
word because it's all like really. You know how you know it's an expensive luxury place because there's very few items in every shop. You know.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Everything's got room to breathe.
Yeah, if you compare it to the marketplace in the 20th arrondissement.
Or
that we went
Leal.
to. Or Leal, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a whole different story. So we didn't do much shopping, but we did look, and I can recommend everybody go to the very top and look at that staircase, which is a marvel. It's a wonder.
Yeah.
And then there's the new hotel that it opened right by the Seine, which
Yeah,
we
the
popped into the lobby.
Cheval Blanc, I think it's called. The White Horse.
Or is that the name of the restaurant on top?
Oh, I don't know.
Either way, we just popped in, so we didn't check that out. But if you're made of money, go and check that place out.
And let us know
Yeah,
if
let
it's
us
good.
know.
I'm sure it is.
Then it was time for the night.
Yes.
We dropped, luckily there was a gap in the great babysitter shortage of 2022.
We managed to snag one.
Thank you, Julene. And she looked after our son, Otis, while we went out, and we went out with a bang.
Mm-hmm.
So first we start with a non-recommendation, and it pains me to do this, because we figured we'd go and get a cocktail at the Bar Hemingway in the Ritz. We're like, we've done this whole season, let's go and spoil ourselves from the beginning.
Yeah, and that's a very special place, and it's a bit special for us as well, because we got some history there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, what happened? We went to the lovely Place Vendôme. It was quite wonderful because it started raining, which is exactly how my book begins, raining in the Place Vendôme. And then we go into the Ritz, which is wonderful and lovely. Then we get all the way to the back to the Bar Hemingway, and there was a queue.
Yeah.
And I'm talking a big queue for a small bar.
It's like Blockbuster.
Yeah. And we looked at the queue, cool. And we asked I met the head barman, Colin, who I've heard about before. He came out, and I just went and started chatting to him. And he's like, "This queue ain't moving, brother." That's not what he said, but...
He said it in a way more, like, ritzy way.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing is, it lost all its appeal to me, seeing that queue.
Yeah.
It really... It's like Disneyland.
Unfortunately.
Full of tourists, people who doing exactly what we were doing. And... especially when we live in Paris, we don't want to queue up for a cocktail.
I don't think anyone want to queue up for a cocktail. I mean, I feel like the charm of a place like that is just, you have this beautiful day in Paris and you just want to go in for a cocktail and it's nice and lovely and personal and you feel like it's a special place that you found, not stand in like an hour plus queue to get into this place, and it's just it's
also like it's like a speakeasy with a queue at the front. Yes. It kind of is like a speakeasy because you got to go all the way through the hotel, but then no.
It's so nice, so we can't slam it totally at all, but it's.
But I wouldn't wait half an hour for it.
No.
But what I would do is I'd go to one of the nearby bars, which is exactly what we did.
Yeah.
There's one called Cost. Is it Cost
Hotel
or Costes? Costes. Is that a hotel as well?
Mm-hmm.
They had a really nice bar.
Yeah, it's
kind of. Cool. It was funny though. It was very fancy, wasn't it? Like they had sort of beautiful staff there ushering you to your seat, and it felt very fashion weeky.
Yeah,
didn't it?
Yeah, it is a stylish hotspot.
And they had a really lovely, like a lovely energy in there. They had a big sort of open window lit room in the middle.
Yeah, it's all about like the inner courtyard. That's the place to be, to see and to be seen.
And obviously Lena and I had two people that they didn't want to be seen because
so they tucked us in the corner. No.
They did. They ushered us to the back, which was a beautiful room full of modern art, the kind of place where you might see like a movie director sitting talking to a young starlet.
Definitely.
That's what I felt.
Yeah.
Or to
undesirables.
To wannabe podcasters, which is what we were. But it was really nice, and it was a good place, and they were friendly. And
no, it's really nice. I love this place. And the entry to the hotel is like nothing like the other big luxury hotels. It's very like unassuming. It's just kind of like a hole in the wall. It's very easy to pass it. But it's cool.
That's what we did on the way out, and we passing two bookshops that I want to give a shout out to. W.H. Smith, which is now called Smith & Son.
Have we heard some rumors?
I know. I don't know if I'm allowed to share the rumors.
But have we heard some rumors?
They didn't tell me that I couldn't share. Should I say it?
I mean, maybe a rumor of a rumor.
Yeah, okay. A rumor of a rumor of a rumor that's passing around is that they're going to open a new spot on Rue des Rosiers.
Yeah.
The beautiful street in the Marais. And a rumor is that they're going to be selling our books front and center.
That is
so that's
pretty cool rumor.
Pretty exciting. I'd like to give a little shout out to our books because we haven't really talked about them for a while. But there's a new children's book coming out any second.
Yep.
We're going to do a Kickstarter to crowdfund it so that we know how many to make. Self-published as usual.
Like a little pre-sale.
And we've been giving hints about it. But look, the hints have been a little patchy at times. And it's been a long time coming. But I think we've been very graceful.
Oh my God.
Anyway, that book will come out anytime now. Keep an eye out. But Smith & Son, there on Rue de Rivoli, and Galignani. I think that's how you say it. Two really great
up.
bookshops.
Yeah.
But we passed them both for a lovely dinner. Now this, of all the dinners we've had in Paris, this easily would have been top 3 for me. Maybe number 1.
Oh, it's number 1 for me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So we went to Le Meurice. Now, fancy hotel, first arrondissement. My favorite hotel in the world. Not sponsored by them, just really love it in there. They've just got elegance down to a T.
Definitely.
And we wanted to go for dinner. I've also interviewed, a while back, I interviewed the head chef. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And it was really cool because I interviewed him down in the kitchen while they were cooking, while everyone was cooking. And his beautiful kitchen, like just a beautiful kitchen. And I was going around, he was giving me spoons of stuff, and we're interviewing, tasting the cheese and stuff like
Crazy.
that. Which made the eating experience, the dining experience for me even more special.
Of course.
But it was a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Oh, it's so nice. I mean, everything's on point. Like the quality of the food, the atmosphere, the staff, just the
and that
history.
made a big difference, the staff, I thought. Because we've been to a lot of restaurants for this show now, and often the staff don't care. And maybe these guys didn't care, but they were hiding it very well.
Yeah.
Extremely well.
They did a good job of hiding.
The only negative of the experience was we had to rush because we had an appointment for the next thing. And I would have loved to have stayed longer, but every detail of it.
We're doing this for the research.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I enjoyed this one.
Yeah.
The bread, even the bread, because they've got, like, he's a celebrity now, baker, pâtissier, Cédric Groulet, I think his name is. And he'd done the bread that they bring out at the beginning, which was this lovely, like, light loaf cut into fours.
It's like a donut focaccia something.
Yeah, with this olive oil from the south of France that tasted delicious. Just the beginning. Then I had this pigeon. You had a octopus. We wanted to get stuff that was a little unusual. Succulent and delicious. And delightful wine too. And then we had to run, unfortunately. Not even time to have the cocktail that I wanted to have. Or did we? What we did next is we went all in on something. It's kind of like, it was kind of to finish the season on a big bang,
and
really.
This is actually, has been one of my favorite Paris experiences, like ever.
And we can organize for you guys to do this too. We'll explain how at the end. But what we did is, I happen to know the best tour guide of the Louvre. And the best for several reasons. The main being, she's exceptionally fun.
Yeah, she's so good.
Fun.
So fun.
Because if there's one thing that Louvre is missing, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's very serious. A lot of people go there for 4 hours. They get lost. They get irritated.
Yeah.
They get exhausted. They make a beeline for the Mona Lisa, and then they're disappointed on that. It's missing fun. And luckily, as I said, I know Amber Minogue. And I said to her, the Louvre is open late tonight, which is another huge tip.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's Friday nights that it's open late. I think it changes, though. And so we wanted to go an hour before it closed. And Amber said, what do you want to see? And you said...
The gist. Which means I want to get, like, the gist of the museum.
Yeah.
You know, the highlights.
Because what did you say where you always get stuck?
Yeah, I always... It's true, but I always, every time I get stuck in Egypt and I can't find my way out and I can't find what I want to see and I just keep seeing Egypt.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I even feel like, you know, they've got a lot of those little signs pointing to the Mona Lisa, like, which is kind of weird, I think, because obviously there's so much to see in there.
Yeah.
But you end up following them because it's almost like they're telling you where to go.
Yeah.
So
it's like the only way you know how to follow something. It's like, okay, I go to Mona Lisa and then that must lead to the exit.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And we've been a bunch of times and we've seen a bunch of the stuff, but we wanted to do the gist tour in 1 hour. And Amber said, you don't even need an hour. You want the gist, I can do it in 45 minutes, but we'll be quick. And we said, well, we have to be quick because it's going to close. And we looked forward to what was going to be a fantastic night. And knowing this, I did the unheard of. I brought the photographer, Augusta, again. So Augusta's taken pictures of two things in this district. She came along for the gist tour of the Louvre. And instead of just recounting what happened, I figured while I was there that I'd do some recording. So we're going to take you into the belly of the other beast, the Louvre, and you're going to hear a few snippets of our conversations, my conversations with Amber as we explored this magnificent museum. Amber Minogue.
Oliver G.
I feel stressed.
Don't stress.
It's because it's so overwhelming.
It is.
Yeah, okay. So, Lena, are you ready?
I am as ready as I can be. I mean, it's like entering a country here. It's amazing. It's huge.
Bit. Yeah, it is a little bit with all the checking and everything. Yeah. But in terms of the gist of the Louvre tour, I know that you know like comme ta poche,
Like my pocket,
right?
yes.
But first question first. Mona Lisa, worth it or not worth it?
I think most people do want to see the Mona Lisa. I think it's a bit weird not
Diplomatic
to...
answer, no, is it worth it?
I mean, it's a great work of art. We are standing in the steps of Beyonce, so...
Okay, can you give us a gist of the gist tour that we're going to do today?
We're going to do a highlights tour, so we're going to concentrate on the Denon wing, and we'll see the three famous ladies if we see the Mona Lisa, so Venus de Milo, the Winged Victory, Mona Lisa, and a few French paintings and a few Italian paintings.
And what about the Philippe Auguste bricks?
I'll take you there.
Yes. Now I'm going to ask everybody what we want to see. Me, it's the Philippe Auguste fortifications, ramifications, vestiges. Mm-hmm. Lena, what do you want to see?
Well, I said Mona Lisa before, but I changed it to the Winged Victory.
Do you only want to see it because of the Audrey Hepburn scene?
Perhaps.
Yes. That's a
Doesn't
good reason.
matter.
That's
Yes.
a good reason.
Yeah.
That's a good reason.
It is.
We'll recreate the moment.
That voice is Augusta, the photographer. What do you want to see?
I'm just happy to be here because the last time I was here, I was 18 or 19 years old, and I had no idea what I was doing.
So, backup question, follow-up question. How are you going to snap this thing?
I want to see scale. I want to see you guys next to the paintings and next to the statues so that we can see just how big they are, because I think that's why the building is so big. Right?
Good answer.
I
You
love
ready,
it.
guys?
Yes.
Let's run.
Let's do it.
Amber, you're going so quick. This reminds me of when you and I were in the sewers about 18,000 episodes ago.
But we were going quick because that was pretty disgusting. Can you imagine now?
Tell me what we're standing at. This is for the podcast. What are we at?
Well, this is a little Arago plaque, and they go all through Paris, through north to south. And Arago was the scientist that plotted the Meridian Line. And there was a competition between Paris and London. London won, which is why we have Greenwich Mean Time. And this was just a little plaque to him. You know, an artist did it. And I think there's 136 through Paris. And some of them go through the Louvre and the Palais Royal.
And we're standing right next to the beautiful... I was going to call them the Spanish Steps up there, but they're definitely not the Spanish Steps. They're the Audrey Hepburn Steps from...
The Audrey Hepburn steps.
But do you want to join one day? I'm going to walk the whole length
Yeah,
and try and find all 136?
I think you need a bike to do it.
No, gotta walk.
All right, then let's do it. They spread out in the South Bank.
Okay, we'll do bike for the south.
Yeah.
All right, onwards.
Onwards, let's go.
Amber, we're standing near the Mona Lisa, but we're also standing next to the...
Wedding feast at Cana.
And it's hard to do it for a podcast, but luckily you're a podcaster too. Can you explain to me the typical reaction of people when they see Mona Lisa for the first time?
They're a bit disappointed.
Really? That's the thing?
A lot of them are, because it's very small and, you know, they've been built up and it's very busy to go and see her. So I think most people are surprised how small she is. So, yeah. And
Is it so it's kind of like a
no.
like when you bring people in,
Yeah.
are you expecting that, or are you kind of hoping that they're going to go, oh my gosh, there she is?
I want people to say, oh my gosh, there she is. But most people sort of say a bit,
Yeah.
And it doesn't help, you know, because we're standing at the Wedding Feast at Cana. It's the biggest painting in the Louvre.
What's the reaction to the Wedding Feast at Cana?
People like it.
I think this is my favourite painting maybe in the universe.
It's great. I mean, it's fantastic. They often say, oh, is it the Last Supper? But there are only 12 people at the Last Supper and there's 130 here, so...
Do you want to hear one of my favourite cartoon jokes I ever saw? It was Jesus walking into a restaurant.
Yeah.
And he said, can I have a table for 26, please? And they go, hang on, there's just 13 of you. He goes, yeah, we're all going to sit at one side. It's pretty good.
It's good.
Is that the test? Yes. Okay, so this is the painting of where Jesus turned water into wine. Great
That's
history behind this one as well. But we just don't have time for it.
We don't have time. We're doing a speed tour around the Louvre.
On that note, shall we?
Let's go.
A speed tour around the Louvre is exactly what we did. That joke kind of fell flat. She's a professional comedian as well, so I was always going to struggle, but it's worth a try.
She said it's good, you know. I don't know.
Amber Minogue, who also has a podcast, the Pan Am podcast, Pan Am Paris. It's a show about the city as well, more focusing on history. Check that out. Now, I mentioned before that people at home can do this tour. Get in touch if you want to do a tour of the Louvre with Amber, but also we're going to offer sort of exciting packages.
Like a bespoke deluxe.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's also going to be, the idea is, because some people want to capture their experience in the first, for example. So one thing that we were talking about, because we had a brainstorm after, I'll tell you where in a second, but the idea of getting your photo taken in the Tuileries with Augusta, going on the Gist of the Louvre tour with Amber, and then, if you do the night version, having a cocktail at Le Maurice to talk art and Paris with Amber as well. So that's something. Get in touch immediately if you want to do that really soon.
I want to do it again.
I want to do it again.
Yeah.
But that's something we're going to be offering. More tours, more packages with more tour guides.
More experiences.
Yeah, so get in touch if that sounds like something for you right away. Otherwise, I'll be promoting it soon. The Earful tours, especially with the photos. You can have the same kind of photos that we have on the show. But I just said what we did. We went to Le Maurice at the end to round out this arrondissement. We took Augusta along with us. We took Amber along. And we sat in that same fateful bar where you and I sat on one of our first dates ever.
All those years ago.
All those years ago, and we had cocktails.
And it was just as good.
It was wonderful. It was nice to go back to Le Maurice again after a quick dinner, because that place is just stunning.
Yeah, we didn't feel like we were finished with it.
No. And
but so we finished there.
yeah. You know what's nice? Like, I was just sitting there feeling really happy. Partly because we'd done the whole season, but partly because it's just such a wonderful place.
It's a happy making
It
place.
really is. Like,
and they got the
lovely.
live music. I mean, it's
we were
just,
so fortunate.
It's so stunning. It's like an old world kind of elegance. Oh, it's timeless.
I feel unspoiled by tourists,
yeah.
which some other hotels maybe
Yeah.
are. Hey, before we get into these scores,
Yeah.
which are sponsored by the Patreon members, patreon.com/TheEarfulTower, we jumped over the Louvre pretty quickly. I just want to ask, which was your favorite thing in there that we saw?
My favorite? Oh, it has to be... as a Swede, I always have trouble pronouncing this, but the Winged Victory. I want to say the
Winged Victory, yeah.
Yeah.
The Winged Victory of Samothrace.
That's right.
That's what you said as we went in down the stairs that you were looking forward to.
Yeah, and it's so nice, and it has a special little place in my heart because that's where Audrey Hepburn walks down those massive stone steps, and in the movie Funny Face, and she goes like in this red dress and towards the photographer. She goes like, "Take the picture, take the picture."
I didn't
And
even think that's why you were getting all your pictures taken there. Because you had a big flowing dress on too.
I got a few photos taken there for my little collection.
Even without Audrey, that's a lovely statue.
Yeah.
Like, that's lovely. And that staircase is amazing. For me, besides the Philippe Auguste castle fortifications at the bottom floor, which are much overlooked, but which I'm banned from speaking about on this show, I think, Liberty Leading the People.
Oh, yeah.
In that red room upstairs.
Yes.
By Delacroix.
Yeah.
Fascinating, beautiful painting. Which features, if I may say so, very cleverly in our new children's book.
Yeah. It has a whole spread.
A whole big spread,
dedicated
but in
to
a
it.
very unusual way.
And you might not even notice it, weirdly. Like, it's a whole spread, but you might not notice
Wow,
it.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, these scores. Seeming it's the last episode, I want to refresh everybody on scores. Let's go through the top 5, okay? So far, out of all the 19 arrondissements we've visited, first place is held by the 4th in the Marais, with 91 out of 100. Second place, the 3rd, also the Marais, 85 out of 100. No surprises there for me, really.
Wow, it's a big jump there.
Yeah, the 4th is that good, I think. The 5th arrondissement takes 3rd place. The 2nd arrondissement takes 4th place. And 5th place is the 6th on the left bank. So there you go. They're with 82 out of 100. So, for the first arrondissement to take top place, it needs over 91. I don't know if it's going to make it, although I know you've been very generous with your 10s.
I have, unfortunately.
You give them out like it's
I
candy
know.
at Christmas.
I'm a giving person, what can I say?
Let's get into our scores.
Okay.
First arrondissement. We begin with strollability.
I give it a solid 10.
10, me too,
Yeah.
obviously.
I mean, how can you not?
Obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, it's very strollable.
Very variable.
Number 2 here, the affordability out of 10.
3?
Me too. I gave it a 3 as
Yeah,
well.
because the Tuileries are huge.
Yeah.
Free. The Louvre, huge.
17 euros.
That's not bad for
Yeah.
like a day or
Yeah.
an hour or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine.
Yeah. We don't need
So,
to
yeah.
justify this. We both said the same
that's
score.
true.
Shareability.
Yeah, 10.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's very shareable. Tourist ability.
Well, here I went a bit rogue. 11.
Yeah, I put 10.
Okay, good, cool.
Can we accept an 11?
I think it's the final. It's the
This
end of the
means
season.
if we accept it, we have to put an asterisk next to the final score.
I mean, do we?
Well, let's see.
Because I feel like maybe I was a bit too generous previously, and now I'm trying to make up for it. What I feel is just fitting.
It's very funny.
So
The
11 stays.
If it doesn't affect the ranking, it stays. If it affects, we have to change. But we need to redo all the scores on a different ranking.
Sure.
11. Accessibility.
11.
No.
Yes.
You put 11.
I mean, it's the center.
Okay.
You can't get more accessible than that.
Okay, I put 10.
Okay.
So I was very
You were
straightforward about
outrageous
10
as well.
What is yours must add up to 45 then?
It does.
Yeah, so mine's 43.
Cool.
Which takes it to 88. Where does that land at? Let's have a look. 88 puts it in second place, and even without your bonuses, it would still be in second place.
Okay.
So there you go. It's
Oh.
on second place with 88, right after the fourth, and right before the third. That is amazing.
That's amazing.
I love your 11s. That
Yeah,
was really-
well, I feel like it needed it.
So there you have it, everybody. We are going to do a sort of more best of retrospective, reflective look
Oh,
at...
wow. That was almost like a rap.
Yeah, I scripted that one.
Retrospective.
For those who subscribe to my email, I want to give the answer, because I know it tongue-tied a lot of you, even people guessing way off. In my weekly newsletter, I did a riddle, and what it was is I repeated, because it was about the second arrondissement, I repeated lots of words, right?
Like couscous.
Couscous,
Tartar.
win-win. No, yeah. Bye-bye, hello, choo-choo at the start when I talked about I ate in a train. There were 18 of them, and several of you guys guessed it, but most of you didn't. So a few quick words of thanks. A special thanks to the Patreon supporters. This was by far, and I'm talking by far, the most expensive season of the show we've ever done. If you think in hotels, babysitters was a large part of it.
Oh, yeah.
All the restaurants we've been to, all the transport, all the taxis back and forth with the baby. This was a very expensive season. If you are a Patreon supporter, you made it happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
But I also want to give the opportunity, if you feel that you enjoyed this season, if it was worth the price of a guidebook to you, for example, I set up a thing because a few people asked, the earfultower.com/support, where you don't need to do a monthly payment necessarily. You can just drop in some support there that will either go towards making the show better or treats for the team, because this team is growing, I'm really happy to say, and it's important that we look after them. A few other quick thanks. Everybody in Paris who we met, who made this a lovely season of experiencing for us. All the babysitters we work with, Press Max on the music, Eddie G on the editing, Charlotte Pleasance, Augusta Sagnelli for the photos.
I mean, so many people that made this happen. It's really cool.
And all the people who've sent in lovely words, left reviews, shared it with their friends, and so on. That winds things up for this episode. It has been a treat. We've seen so much of this city. It's been a pleasure to share it with you all. Lena and I will be back for a more calm episode soon, and my plan is in the next 4 weeks, while we take a huge break from doing this exploring, I'm going to do some Zoom chats with the people who've made this season what it is, to get really behind the scenes. So I'm thinking, talk to the photographer about Paris visually, talk to the musician about Paris by ear.
Audibly.
And the idea is to do the Zoom chats with members who want to watch on Patreon and turn them into podcast episodes for this sort of between season time. Now, Lena, my lovely wife and co-host for this season, do you have any final thoughts?
I have a massive thank you to say to the listeners and to the team and to you. It's been so much fun making this season happen, and to be like a temporary co-host to step in and do this season. It's been amazing.
It's been lovely having you here, and I think I speak on behalf of all of the listeners in saying it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Lovely, Lena. From me, it's been great to share Paris with you. I'm looking forward to, as well, getting back into some interviews with people, meeting some characters around Paris, seeing the people who make the City of Light shine. But as for now, Lena and I think we're going to have a little bit of a break. So until next time, guys, come to Paris. Check out the 4th arrondissement, the 1st, the 3rd, the 5th, the 2nd, the 6th, the 7th, in that order, because that's where all the good stuff is. And we'll be back again with more episodes before you know it. Merci beaucoup.
And see you later.